Also, with Tokyo Toy Show, tons of images have surfaced, tons of information, tons of confirmations. We now know the MP number of Masterpiece V3, version 3, Convoy, Optimus Prime. MP-44, Convoy,
Woo.
Optimus Prime, version 3 for the 35th anniversary. We were going through a pace of news throughout the week, and as the news was coming out, we didn't really discuss about it right away because we kind of we wanted to wait and see. We were given prices of how much this stuff is going to cost, how much is MP-44 Prime is going to cost, and it was ranging between, it's going to be $500, it's going to be $450. Some places like Robot Kingdom were saying, we could do $350, and we were getting different people freaking out over it, going like, this is the most expensive it's ever been, and and yeah, I mean, I feel like we're having the Masterpiece Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron discussion all over again, which was also very expensive. But in the case of the Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, I was saying like how, it's not a lot of figure and there's not a lot of engineering here that really needed to be done. But
I remember, just to go back to the Masterpiece Megatron, someone had pointed out, I think his toes are articulated.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
and I was like, what?
There's a lot.
Really?
There's a lot of pieces there. To be fair, I think the original Beast Wars Megatron had articulated toes too.
No, I think his feet were was just one mono
right.
piece.
Maybe I'm mixing up with the Robot Heroes. Robot Masters. But the point is that I was kind of also in that same camp going like, wow, that's really expensive. But then when we got on Weibo, they listed all the pieces that it was going to come with. And it's like, so you have like, there was this huge like just list of everything that comes in. It's like the main body, Optimus Prime. Then they're saying compartment, the trailer. The cabin anti-air gun, which is referring to like the roller turret piece, which is actually a separate piece too, which is true to the cartoon. Then Roller himself, then the energy axe, then 2 special beam weapons, then the laser rifle, also known as the ion cannon. Energy treasure, I don't know what that is, maybe an energon cube. Energy supply tube, maybe it's the hose that goes with Optimus Prime for his gas hose. That's what I'm assuming here, and that might be also what the energy treasure is. Maybe that's the hose. This is all translated from Chinese.
But mind you, we do have
we have images, but
we do have images. We could totally
we'll get into that after
cross-reference.
Well, yeah, so we'll get into that afterwards. Then we have Spike, Sparkplug, and Carly are all going to have figures that are going to be included. Then the rocket backpack, which came from Sideswipe. I wonder if they're going to be compatible. That one.
I hope so.
Then we have, it says here, Starscream head and then Starscream wing accessory. That's a reference to, we'll get into afterwards when we get into the photos, but it's actually a reference to an episode of the show, which is it turns your Masterpiece Optimus Prime actually into a Starscream toy too. Then we have an unknown item, a replacement head carving. This is probably battle damage head, but then they say a war damaged head. So that's another battle damage. Then a damaged chest piece. This is, again, we're going to get into it afterwards. Trading card and a box. Now, we have the images that have now shown up. We have the full color images and everything. We're able to look at everything and make sense of everything that's been said. We have the rocket pack. We have the characters. We don't have a Carly figure yet, but we do see the Spike and Sparkplug. And this is Sparkplug, the first time he's ever getting a legitimate figure. So that's pretty cool. Now Sparkplug finally has a figure. Where Carly and Spike in different forms have gotten some kinds of figures. We now see more or less all the accessories, minus 2 or 3 that were on the list here. We don't see the Starscream wing accessory. We see the Starscream head. So maybe
we also see the Starscream. How would I put it? The vent scoops.
Yeah.
If you see that on the far right underneath the jetpack,
which might be the wing accessories. I don't know, but I mean that's what they call it here. So
I think that's what it probably is. That's what I would see it as.
For people that are wondering about the whole Starscream head thing, is there was an episode of season 2 called Megatron's Master Plan, and there was an episode where Starscream actually disguised himself as Optimus Prime. And in typical Marvel Productions animation fashion, he just pulls his head off and Starscream's body's under there, So it kind of makes your Masterpiece toy also a Starscream toy if you're a Starscream collector. So, And another thing that's cool is that the roller trailer accessory for the turret is detachable. And what's cool about that is because it's been depicted many times in the show that accessory or that turret was kind of its own thing. It was able to roll out on its own. So it's pretty cool that exists. Because when we're talking in terms of show accuracy, that trailer itself and the interior of the trailer never got a good depiction in the show. Whenever we would see like anything in relation to the inside of the trailer, it always would either be the roller accessory itself, or alternatively, it would be that turret that kind of was like on its own. And then at one point almost got destroyed even. So it's nice that they kind of went out of the way to do that. The battle damage is that of the movie, obviously. So you have like Optimus Prime's abdomen damage, like his little, like his, I call it the Energon bleed out that he suffered from. That's how he died in the 86 movie, where he just got, Megatron just focused on that one part. And again, same thing, the battle damaged face, the whole thing. So if you want to do like a death of Optimus Prime kind of thing, like that's the whole point of that. Someone,
go on.
I was going to say, so what someone pointed out too on Twitter, I forget who it was, but they also pointed out that by having the Starscream accessories, this opens up to the repaints in the future, meaning like you could do a black Optimus Prime repaint, like your typical Nemesis Prime repaint, and the Starscream accessories could be then turned into Skywarp. You could then do a Ultra Magnus repaint of this, and the Starscream accessories could be Thundercracker. You could do a, I don't know, I'm reaching here, Shining Optimus Prime, the Bape Optimus Primes. You could then turn it into Acid Storm, into Sunstorm. The point is that there's even more, by having the Starscream included, it's almost like they're planning in advance to do the Seeker repaints at the same time in relation to the repaints that this mold is going to get, because it's the same thing. Look, MP10 Optimus Prime and MP1 Optimus Prime, both of them got all the colors of the rainbow. They even got like weird stuff like the 7-Eleven repaint and the Evangelion repaint, on top of the Bape ones and the Death of Primes and the Sleep Modes and the black repaints and all the crazy ones.
With the other accessory I want to definitely point out is, look at his Ion Blaster. It transforms, it stows away. It has right in the middle of it a hinge where it'll fold in on itself, side to side kind of style. And then also, if you look at the handle for the handle of the gun, there's like a little peg there. So yeah, I think this stows away just like I was hoping it would, because I really like that MP10. The gun, like you press a little button and the gun flips out. Like I always think that's always a really cool thing. So I think they've carried it on with this one in particular too. So I'm very, very happy to see that.
And again,
I'm gonna look at
and as it also in how it partakes to pricing in comparison. Like you're mentioning the transforming gun here, the transforming gun, which originated with well, obviously there was other Transformer toys that did that, but with Optimus in the case of MP10 had it. I was having discussions with people and telling them, like, because now Robot Kingdom and a few other sites, they're starting to show prices where you could probably get it as low as $400. I remember when MP10 came out, people were paying $500 for this thing. So, and again, nothing wrong with MP10. I like it. Proportions are a little off, but it's not a terrible toy. But MP10 didn't come with as much accessories as this, and MP10 is smaller than this one.
Original release of MP10, did it come with the trailer?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It did. If I remember correctly, it did. That's a good question.
That was because I remember
MPO1 didn't. MPO1 didn't 100%.
Yeah. And then I know the American release of MP10 did come with the trailer.
That's a good question, because I know that
and it wasn't 400 at that point. It was like what, 150 about.
I know that MPO4 was what was called Convoy Perfect Mode, which was like, it has the trailer and the Optimus. I'm pretty sure MP10 also had the trailer, because it only had that one release in Japan. So it's not like they did one release. I think what I'm getting mixed up here is when they did the weird repaint individual releases down the line, those were the ones where they kind of didn't include the trailer because
Right.
it would.
Yeah, it did. Well, I mean, from
Not
what I've
all
seen,
of them. Not all of them though.
No. I'm saying like I'm thinking here. Let me see. Let's see. Release date September 11th. I'm looking at a Hobby Link Japan, thing
well,
here.
MP10 Convoy. I have it in front of me now. Did have the trailer.
I think it did come. Yeah, it did have.
The trailer. But then as you kind of go down the pipeline of repaints and stuff like that, that's when stuff starts to get like, okay, MP10 Black Convoy, right? Didn't have the trailer. MP10A, the Bape one, which was the green one, didn't have the trailer. The Evangelion one did have the trailer. So it's kind of like it jumps back and forth. I think that's where the confusion came from. And then like again, when they did the black camo one with Bape, like there's so many. There is so many. They did the Black Lagoon one, which we discussed about a year ago, the gold repaint, so there's so many of that mold. So that being said, it's going to be the same thing with this one. You know what I mean? This thing's going to get repaints. It's going to get re-releases. So if you're someone that's on the fence right now when it comes to pricing, wait. Just wait. Because I remember when MP10 came out, people scrambled. They paid big money for it. Then when the American version came out, people were paying upwards of $500 for it.
Yeah,
it was getting a little nutty. It was very insane. It was getting a little crazy. But then it all evened out, And before you know it, they did reissues. They did reissues on the reissues. They did Hong Kong reissue, which is not a bootleg. It's like they just do Hong Kong release. And then it comes with extra accessories or something. Masterpiece is not a limited line. It's not something where they only make a limited number of them and that's it. They know that people want it. They know that there's a demand. And I'm pretty sure, depending on where you go to pick it up, you'll be able to find a good price for it. Right now, it's looking like Robot Kingdom probably is the best source right now for pricing. But, I mean, again, that could potentially change. Like for all you know, like maybe Amazon Japan might turn around and give a best price, but Robot Kingdom right now, as of this recording, it could change, but right now, Robot Kingdom, you could pick up MP-44 Convoy Optimus Prime for $369, which that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. So, I mean, that's kind of what they're asking for the Megatron and stuff, and in all honesty, you're getting a lot more with this Optimus than you are with the Megatron. Even though if you asked me if I could have one or the other for free, I'd have the Megatron. But the point is that you're getting a lot with this Prime. And it does look great. Like, let's just address another thing, too, because we were talking about Transform Element not too long ago. Yeah. We were talking about their third-party Optimus. I mean, looking at this robot mode, it's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? It has articulation. It looks like the character model from Furo Diri. It tucks in the wheels everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if they either, I don't know who stole the engineering from who, but the point is that all the engineering is there. It does all the articulation. They show, Superman landing, superhero landing pose, as we like to call it. They show a recreation of the very first time Spike and Sparkplug first met Optimus Prime on the oil rig. So there's a lot going on here, and it looks like it's pretty damn good. It look like this is about as good as it's going to get for G1 Optimus Prime, at least for now. And, I mean, it does the Matrix gimmick. It has all those accessories. And to be realistic here, I know that most people, they're going to pose it in robot mode anyways. So a lot of this other stuff is really just, cherry on the cake or accessories that are going to sit in the box or a Ziploc bag. I mean, for the one hardcore Starscream fan that's going to buy it just to put it in the Starscream mode, sure. I mean, you know what? In all honesty, if there was a hot rod equivalency of this, I wouldn't be surprised too. I'd probably take advantage of that. But I mean, the point is that it's cool. It's really cool. It looks really good. It works in scale with all the other Autobot car masterpieces, which is cool too. There's a lot going on here. And I think that the price, especially the Robot Kingdom price, is justified. If down the line, I mean, this is going to be a big box. So obviously,
pretty big.
So
pretty
shipping
big
is going to be a factor too. But this is something that if you could go to a convention and pick this up for 400 flat, or if you could get that Robot Kingdom price of like 350 flat with shipping free because you're picking it up in person, definitely go for it. I don't want to sound like a Takara like excuse maker here, but I mean, this is the evolution of what's happening with our brand right now. It's people are buying hot toys, people are buying expensive, like Takara is seeing how some of the crazy money that people are dropping into third-party stuff. I mean, there's a lot of expensive third-party stuff being bought at TFCon. I see that.
Exactly.
And Takara's going like, hey, we want a piece of that pie too. And if they could give us an Optimus Prime that gives us everything and then some, and do it within a reasonable price point that they're not losing money, because they're a business at the end of the day. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm, making excuses for them, but
I mean, I'll call back to that article that we read where all the designers are talking about this new Optimus Prime, and they're like, MP10 is like, we really did everything we could at that time. Like, how do we improve upon that? What else do we do? I remember that was their big challenge for this, which is just like, well, MP10 does this, MP10 does that, but seeing what they're doing with MP-44, and like the legs are more svelte and everything, like they really slimmed it down and made it look like that character model, surprisingly. Like, hats off to them. Jeez, like, I'm willing to buy this guy. It's like, that's insane how good he is. Well, at the end of the day, I would hope there's a Hasbro version, kinda. I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking at it down the line.
I almost guarantee, like, there's going to be a Hasbro one for sure. Like
I would personally I would wait for the Hasbro version. Because I don't mind the Hasbro stuff. Well, when it comes to this stuff,
and we were lucky with MP10 in that the Hasbro version was actually kind of a little better than the Japanese one. And in the case of this, it's like the only fear that anyone could have is if they do wait for a Hasbro one, for Hasbro to maybe keep the cost down, they might get rid of some accessories. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we don't need the Starscream head, or something.
Yeah.
Which, it's happened in the past. Like if you picked up the Hasbro version of, say, Grimlock, it didn't have some of the accessories that the Japanese one did, like the little waiter's table with the little drink.
Yeah, like that's really, really, really specific.
So they kind of left that stuff out. But otherwise, like, the way that I see it is, I mean, I look back, and for the longest time, one of the most expensive Masterpiece toys was Star Saber. And I remember when his pre-order hit, and I believe he was like $250. And that was, I want to say it was like 2012. And it's just, well, when Star Saber hit, man, like, it was $250, and people were like going, oh man, that's really expensive. But he was a big figure, and he came with a lot of accessories, but he was a very simple in terms of engineering. Like they didn't have to do too much to change this up. There's a lot of engineering that went into this. This is a whole new Optimus in a lot of ways. Like, you can't show me, like, even, you put MP10 next to this. MP10's still showing the wheels, And,
exactly. Like, that's what I mean. Like the wheels on the side of his calves.
Yeah.
The side and the calves is just bulking out. And they made that they slimmed that down and they hid the wheels really well. I'm very surprised. They did a really, really good job.
Yeah, it's a very well done looking figure. It matches, like, there's some great photos that people have posted where it's the character model next to the figure, and it just lines up like silhouette for silhouette.
Like, if I had to complain about that specific that character model versus MP-44, the blue crotch isn't big enough. Needs more blue crotch.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's the only thing I could be like. But I mean, you could just slap some paint on the side of it, and I think you'd be fine if you want to be a really big stickler for no reason. But that's just me being silly.
And on top of that, also, like, the crazy thing is that it's going to be in robot mode in your display. I understand that the argument always is that they want it to transform, even though they're going to leave it in robot mode, but they still want it to transform because they want it to possess that gimmick. They want it to possess that kind of that option if they want to have it in alt mode to just show, hey, and it transforms, you know?
And also, one thing I want to point out for sure is that surprisingly, you're getting a stand as well. Because if you look at with him with the backpack on, the backpack accessory, that stand that he's using is that other roller accessory.
Yeah, it's the roll.
Just
it's the
doubling up as a stand. So I think a lot of thought, a lot of heavy thought went into this. Again, like I said, I'm really, really surprised. I'm just like going through the pictures again, just like, what else can I grab from any of these? I'm like, yeah, that in particular.
Well,
and when you scroll down, you see roller using pulling the stand as a trailer. You could see that little pin there where it'll stand, like it'll move down its stability. So it can hold
there's a
up
lot
Optimus.
of things that they did with this that they didn't have to do. Like one thing that I'm surprised that they did, and it didn't compromise the figure at all, was the fact that it actually has a cockpit that Spike and Sparkplug could sit in. And I was going like, man, and like, and
I think they could sit in it, but I don't think you can see them out the front window.
That's the whole thing.
I think that's
Spike sits in that cockpit, and he literally has the Matrix container
next to his head.
Yeah, it's like you could see that's where the Matrix is stored. Like it's just in his face there. So it's pretty much something you can only see from the side, pretty much, and when the door's open. But the fact that they even made the effort, you know, to go like, hey,
the fact that it even has doors that open on the side.
Yeah, like, hey, we'll still give you the opportunity to do this, even though it's not necessary. But I mean, look, there's a lot of paint on this. This is going to be much larger than MP10 in terms of scale because they're going to want to scale it more with the current stuff that's going on. It has all these accessories and just the modern way that toys are today. There's, you know, Takara, it's a different era. There's people, you know, you have to understand, we live in America and we have our own set standard of how we think toys should cost and everything. But I look, our deluxes now for Siege are going to be $20 a pop in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw people talking about that and really what that, you know, freaking out about it.
So think about it this way. There's going to be people out there that are going to buy the entire first wave of Siege, okay? 4 deluxes, so 4, okay? Let me just pull out the old calculator here. So 4 times 20 is 80, right? Then you got two Voyagers. Those Voyagers, how much are those? Those are 45 now, I think they've jumped to. You know, so times 2 on that, so that's 90. You know, you're already halfway there. And those are figures that I guarantee you're going to buy them right away on launch. And you're going to like look back like 2-3 years from now and go, man, like I can't believe I bought those on launch and I dropped like so much money on it. But those Masterpiece toys, people still to this day are buying MP10s. There's still people hunting for Masterpiece toys because those
people are still hunting for Masterpiece Soundwave.
Soundwave, Grimlock,
and I'm surprised they haven't re-released it or anything like that. Especially the American version.
They've done.
I mean the iconic original looking
G1
Soundwave one, like that first box that they did. Like, I'm surprised they're like, oh, you know, for whatever anniversary, here you guys go again. You know, come and get it. And I'm personally surprised they haven't done that.
But that's just it. The pursuit, you know, by fans in the long run, years after a toy is released, Masterpiece keeps that need, and people are running out and buying Siege en masse, and it's the same thing. They're complaining about the price of this Prime. But you're buying Siege, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you're going to go out and spend $20 on a deluxe, and that's a huge increase from what you were used to spending, don't be surprised to spend, you know, and you could argue, oh, there's more paint on this, the engineering, blah, blah, blah. But look, it's the same story here. And the last thing that people need to understand is this is a Japanese-made product in the climate of what's going on in the Japanese market over there. And China's right next door buying everything, you know. They're looking at what's happening with third party, and they're going, how do we beat this? How do we beat this, and how do we make something better? And they beat something. They made something better, in my opinion, and gives us everything that we want. And I think the only complaint that people really have, and I think the only thing that's just, making people then, oh, I'm just going to get the third-party one, is the price. But I think that the price is something, too. If you just kind of take a step back, like you said, Hasbro one could probably come down the pipes, which right away would save you a lot of headache in terms of shipping and price right there. If they do, let's say you don't give a crap about the Starscream accessory, then if that stuff is absent and it keeps the price down, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be willing to deal with that. Like I said too, I mean, you're going to display it in your Optimus Prime robot mode anyways, so there's some people that'll be like, that Starscream accessory would have sat in the box anyhow, so it's kind of like a lot of people that have MP09 MP09 Rodimus, and his trailer just kind of sat there in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
I've met a lot of people that were trying to just sell their Rodimus trailer. They didn't even want the.
Oh wow.
They were just like, oh, do you?
Well, I mean, I can kind of see that if you bought the American version, but then wouldn't the colors kind of clash between the American version and Japanese version?
Yeah, they do clash, unfortunately.
So it wouldn't really gel very well.
And the American version has tons of QC issues. It's a freaking mess. But anyhow, the point, and not to mention, just to like kind of go off topic a little bit, recently they announced that they're going to be reissuing MP09, which is weird. There's been a lot of news of that where there's going to be a Hong Kong version being reissued, but it shows that even old Masterpiece toys, there's still a market for them. You never hear like 5-6 years down the line they go, oh, by the way, we're going to be reissuing old Henkei toys or old, like you might get you'll get a repaint of a mold, but they're never going to be like, oh, we're going to be reissuing this character unchanged completely for the market today, because there's no shortage of it, and even more so, there's like the demand constantly wanes. Every line, like we just finished Power of the Primes, and I know for a fact, as much as I loved certain stuff in Power of the Primes, there's going to be people that are going to be like, I'm not going to be, breaking my neck to get these Pretender shells. I'm not going to be breaking my neck to get this Optimus or this special Rodimus, or this Optimus Primal leader class. I know that for a fact, and not to mention, the scary thing is, some of that stuff's going to show up in the charity auction at TFCon. But I know for a fact that at the end of the day, an MP10 Optimus Prime, up until this point, an MP10 Optimus Prime still was high demand, and it still was something that everyone got. Every single Transformer fan that I knew that kind of rolled the dice in a higher end level picked up one of these. I have one, you have one, and you're a more selective buyer, and you have one. Which to me, that's always an indicator too, is when someone like you purchases a Masterpiece, it says more, outside of, let's say, a black repaint.
I try not to go crazy with those.
But it says that there's more of a must get kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that says a lot to me also, where, I mean, if Wendell doesn't pick up MP09, it's important to some Rodimus fans and some Masterpiece collectors, but it's not a must get, Yeah. So it makes sense. But in the case of this Convoy, you know what I mean? It's a different animal. And I'm pretty sure, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but give it time, and I think the price is going to even out more, and we're going to have a better idea of what it's worth and when it's going to look. I went to TFCon in Chicago, and as much as we all criticized like the price of like Dinobot, I just had, like, anyone that saw my Twitter, that slew of Dinobots all in one place.
What was it? Seven
or eight of them. I just,
just people bought them.
At the end of the day, the people who want it and will get it, and they will enjoy the heck out of it, and they will not regret it.
I mean, to me, that price for that Dinobot is completely justified because we haven't had a perfect Dinobot ever.
And
so I mean, if that's the cost of having a perfect Dinobot, then yes.
And FYI,
then yes, like model accurate, mainframe model accurate, then yes, 100 times
and
yes.
FYI, for your information, like another thing too, from the bootleg side of things, I've been hearing how the bootleg guys have been having problems bootlegging Dinobot because of how extensive the paint applications are.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's only, you could bootleg, the Autobot cars when you're talking singular paint schemes over, a car and stuff. When you're talking textures and stuff like that, that becomes a whole different, all of a sudden the factories are having problems pulling that stuff off. So
yeah, they're showing you that, like, Takara and Tom is like, we're showing you what we're doing.
Yeah, we're showing what you're paying for.
This is where the money's going.
It's the Todd McFarlane thing. Take 10 cents out of the plastic, put 10 cents more into the paint, have a nicer painted figure, people will pay for it. And that's what is happening here. Todd made that statement back in 1994, 1995, and it still rings true today, is that at the end of the day, you could bootleg a figure, but bootlegs can't replicate that paint quality, that quality of paint, that hand-painted look that no machine could just, like, throw together. And those mainframe models especially are all about the textures and the design and stuff like that. And same thing when the Beast Wars Megatron is going to come out. It's going to be the same thing. This Optimus, yeah, it's, the paint is a lot more, doable because it's a G1 design, but at the same time, there's just so much going on here that I really wonder how far could a bootleg go. I mean, I'm even looking on the inside of the legs and stuff, looking for rivets, looking for pins, all the little things that they're going to have to do to cut corners in different places, because a lot of times where they use rivets, they'll use a Phillips screw instead. But it's just like there's so much going on here. It's going to be very interesting, and I know we've been talking a lot about it, but it's a topic that's worth discussing because these are the centerpieces of our lines. These are like, whenever you have a display, that's the center of them.
This is the flagship.
Yeah.
This is what brings it all together.
Yep, and so it's something that's worth really fleshing out. And again, from these photos, there's still stuff missing that also comes with this. We still haven't seen the Carly figure yet. And who knows? Amazon Japan always does exclusives too. Oh, we're going to throw in another extra accessory. Oh, we're going to throw in a coin. Oh, we're going to throw in this. We're going to throw in that. There's always something else. So This isn't over. That there's still more to be announced with this. But what I see already, I'm happy. And that Robot Kingdom price, sign me up.